Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Bench. I am Mark Wiggins, your host, coming to you live and direct. Well, sort of. I wanted to get on to talk to you a little bit today about you and where you are in life, what you're trying to do, where have we landed inside of this pandemic thing? Where are we as far as improving ourselves and getting better? Remember when we went out on the pandemic, I talked about finding skills and things that you could learn to come out of the pandemic different and better than you went in. Everybody say better, right? What was it that you were going to try to do? Were you going to go back to an old hobby? Were you going to go back to some things that you wanted to do, building things, working with your hands, finishing home projects? What was it that you were going to now engage in during this uncertain time, since we had so much time and still have so much time to work on it? One of the things I've always wanted to do in my life was to be an investor. Like, it's a thing. Like, I want to be have properties and stocks and cows and oil holdings and investing. I'm trying to be in it. My dad talked about it a lot when I was young. He maybe buy stocks of Coca-Cola when they were like a nickel and all that kind of good stuff. And we all sit back and go, had I invested back then or just held on to a little bit longer? Yeah, all of that. However, there's always still time, right? There's still time to get in it current today. There might not be time tomorrow, but there's time today. And so over time, I've looked at the stock market or trying to make plays and whatnot. And I began to look at it and go, oh, this takes so much time. It's so confusing. All these numbers. Math is not a strong suit. It hasn't been a strong suit. If you know my history, you understand why. I wrote about it in my first book and talked about a math class in Maple Heights High School. But nonetheless, those became my own hurdles. They became my own barriers. They became my own self-limiting beliefs because someone else thought that I should not be in a particular class because I got bused to the other side of town and they didn't know how to deal with black kids in the white classrooms. It was real. It was real back in the 70s and 80s, and it's still real to this day. So nonetheless, in spite of all that, I've been relatively successful in a lot of stuff I've tried to do to go forward. But one of the things that kind of eluded me was this investing thing. It's particularly options and things like that. I tend to like things that aren't like normal. Oh, you can buy stocks, but you could do these options over here. They're a little bit more risky. They're a little bit more volatile. Ooh, yeah. Take a little bit more skill. Ooh, yeah, I want to do that. And so I tend to lean toward things that aren't traditional. Okay, so I had an opportunity to get involved in an organization that does trading, and a frat brother of mine reached out, put up something and said, hey, come check it out. And it was one of those timing things. I had time. It was what I wanted to talk about. So it's what I did. And went in and joined the organization and began to learn to trade. Y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever want to have a long conversation with yourself about yourself, pick up an entirely new skill and try to learn it, right? Just pick up a skill that you've not tried to learn. You will go through a series of emotions of highs and lows, and I can't believe this, and F you, and I don't want this, and I can't believe we do, let's just quit, let's move on. But at some point in your life, you have to push through, right? You're met with your ego. The ego, everybody, we talk about this all the time. Everybody has an ego. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a good thing until it's not. The ego, as you know, protects ourselves between the id and the superego. So it kind of mediates between the two. The inside conservative, I don't want to move, I'm scared to breathe self, versus the wild off the chain person that you probably were when you were younger. That one right there, the we don't care risk type of dude. Like, for instance, you probably rode skateboards with no helmet, no knee pads, no nothing, and bragged about the scars that you had. At 50 plus, look here. Is there like an extra cushion I can fall on? I need a helmet, I need elbow pads, a mouth guard, eye protection, and a high level insurance policy. That's what we're gonna do before I get out here and get on the skateboard. This is what we do. The ego manages all of that. So therefore, when the ego is met with things that make us have to change, it doesn't like it. The ego does not like change. So therefore, it fights it. It throws up barriers and obstacles and says, you can't do this, or it's why you want to go to it. Oh, this is stupid. Ain't nobody doing this. And, oh, what if your friends found out? You don't want to do that. That right there. So here I'm sitting trying to now learn a whole new language, whole new vocabulary, understand what the little lines mean, and understand this other kind of stuff, all the while in the back of my mind, figure out how I'm gonna make this money become this investor. I had several late night conversations with myself, wondering what was wrong, right? Who am I? Who are you? Who do you think you are to try to do? Where is this coming from? And so I had to start having these moments and stuff. So I journal, right? I journal a little bit, and I began to journal my emotions. People don't want to talk about it. I journaled my emotions to what I was going through and what I was struggling with. Remember, I'm combining a new skill set with mathematics and numbers, not necessarily the strong suit, right? So I began to just recognize that you got some self stuff you got to eliminate. Number one, you got to figure out why it is that you have this fear. All right, why is this fear? You have a fear of loss and fear of whatever. I'm trading on a demo account, right? I'm not even using my real money yet, and I am upset. I lost 0 cents. Why didn't it turn? Why did it go this way? Why did it go that way? I don't understand the words. I mean, literally, I began to melt down and like, this is not gonna work, I'm gonna quit. We all know most people quit when they're gonna try something new within the first 25, 30 days, they're out of it. And I said, no, I don't have anything to do, I don't have anywhere to go. Let's just learn. There's no rush, there's no pressure. Only pressure is I put on myself. So there's nothing for me to worry about, but what I'm gonna do. We talk about losing money. Let's run down the list of things that we can waste more money on just as fast, if not faster, than trying to learn a new skill set, right? Insert social life that I used to have. Now I'm at home looking at my son talking about when you're going back to school. So I get in, I start learning, start watching different people, and it's blurry, it's fuzzy, and oh, I want somebody to hold my hand, and all this time I'm like, dude, what is this? You do all this other stuff over here. You're on stages, you're on speaking, you're online, blah, blah, blah. And here comes, there's nobody but you and these charts, and whoever controls the banks and all that kind of good stuff. In the background, you are having issues. I began to recognize some things about myself, like, you know what, you are like this conservative investor person. Like, you don't take risks. Taurus, the bull, does not move quickly. When the bull sits down, the bull sits down. When the bull moves, the bull moves. And not many times will you make the bull move before the bull wants to move. / stubborn is all get out. And I began to recognize that some of the learning that needed to happen, I was fighting against. Hold on, wait a minute. Who was fighting against it? The ego was fighting against learning because it was a change. It was a challenge and change. Part of me was like, nah, this is some BS. Other part was like, dude, let's go. Let's get at it. Come on, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. So I began to get a little better at it, right? Gonna make some moves, whatever, but I still had these same issues. Like, why would I get into a trade when I see that the indicators are going the other direction? But I feel like it's going the other direction because I feel like that. That's what I want to do. And I saw it move just a hot second ago, and it didn't move so quick. Dude, I got burnt and beat time and time and time again. And all I could do was fall back to me learning how to play basketball. Right. Specifically dribbling. More specific, the left-handed layup. Disasters on a biblical scale. Like, it's the ball just dribbles and it runs the other direction. How did it go that way? I'm going this way. How did the ball go up? I don't know. This is what it felt like. It felt like I had to learn and master some skills, right? So I had to get back to the fundamentals of what it was trying to learn, which for me was the vocabulary. So I began to journal and write the vocabulary down. I began to watch more people and hear words over and over. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Again, this thirst to learn, right, is really cool. It's like, where does it come from? Giving me an answer without a lot of support is the wrong thing, because I need to know more. If you say do this, I want to know why. And I wasn't getting my answers from where I thought I should get them from, right? Again, my ego's like, well, ain't nobody telling me, so we shouldn't even do it. Why? But then the other part is like, let's go find out. Google up, YouTube top. Man, I began to learn. So fast forward a little bit, and I began to now fight against old habits, unconscious reactions, schemas, things you do without thinking, and wondering when every time I gave into those things, I ended up losing the trade or finding myself in a bad position financially when all of the stuff was right there in front of me. So I had to then confront that and say, all right, dude, for the next time you have this urge, literally I had to write it down. When you feel like this, I need you to get up and go get the juice. That's one of the instructors said. Go have a juice and sit down. Funny though, it worked. I began to confront a lot of old tape and old things I do as I try to learn something new. And I guess the question I'm going to have right now to you is, what is it that you're trying to learn new that you're struggling with? It has a lot to do with what you hold on to that's old. That you hold on to what's old, it ain't even good no more. It served you well, but it's not servicing you well right now. And therefore, it's time for a change. And all this began to change my mindset about a lot of stuff, about how I approach things. And yeah, you know, a little bit more risk here, a little more risk there. And you mitigate risk by knowing more about what you're trying to get into, having a better understanding. And it's okay to, I felt like every trade had to be had. If they gave out 15 trades, I'm trying to get all 15. Dude, you can't juggle one trade. How you gonna handle 15 trades, right? It's not happening. Take your one, win your one, set your goals, set your specific goal, not their goal, your goal, and be happy with your goal. Work to your goal. One of the, I like illustrations, as you know, I love stories. One of the teachers from the island, he loves to draw and tell funny stories. And the visual he gave on going for your goals was football. Not American football, but soccer, football. He said going for your goal is like you with a ball in front of an open goal net. The net and the goal, just open. There's nobody there. There's no defender there. It's just you, the ball, and the goal. Does it really matter if you kick the ball 2 inches at a time or 3 inches at a time until you get to the front and you put that ball in the goal? Does it really matter? The answer is no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that no one's in front of your goal. It's only you. And then he said, the only person who really stops the goal is when you put yourself in front of the goal. And by the way, yourself can counter all your moves. It's like, why am I losing this fight? Because you're fighting yourself. Literally, you're fighting yourself. And at that moment, I began to recognize that my old stuff, my old habits were my biggest hurdles. And I began to look at some other stuff I was involved with. So, you know, you are the biggest hurdle. You need to get that out the way. And again, you know, I come and be transparent with you because I want you to look at your situation and what you're trying to get to in life and where you're trying to go and recognize what your ego is doing to you, for you, and against you. And handle it. And handle it. It was a struggle. It was a struggle watching things go by. But if it goes up, it comes down. If it goes down, it comes up. It repeats. It's not going away. Just, again, you weren't ready. You weren't ready. Opportunity doesn't go away. It goes to those who are most prepared. And the next time it comes through, I'm going to be prepared. Plain and simple. It's really kind of funny how that trading has put that spin on stuff for me, right? So I began to go through and say, well, you know, there's a couple things I need to understand. So as you know, I'm going to give you some tips, some 0.5ers to help you wherever you are. And I give you my backstory of where I am right now and dealing with, because that's what I feel like doing. But to help you get through what you're doing, because it probably is the same type of situation. And when you get through it and look at it, your biggest critic is you. Your biggest cheerleader is you. But if you're trying to do both at the same time, it's kind of confusing and tiring. Like, do I root for myself or do I criticize myself? And by the way, how hard do I criticize myself and how much should I cheer for myself? These are real questions that hold up real progress. So let me give you like 3.5 things to help you readjust, move, mitigate your ego, and have some more success. Notice I didn't say have success, because you had some success, but are you wanting to have more success? Is that okay with you to have more success? I would hope so. If you with the off the bench program, you with the off the bench movement, I'm thinking you need more success, and there's nothing wrong with that. So here are the 3.5 things. The first thing I need you to do is I need you to acknowledge it. Acknowledge whatever that thing is that you're fighting. For me, it was fear of loss, fear of losing, or people call it scarcity. It was a fear. So I had to adjust the fear and address the fear. I said, what are you really losing, sir? You're betting literally dimes and pennies, nickels and dimes. You're not dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're dimes and dollars. You drop that on the way to the car. Are you really losing? Because in this situation, you're actually learning. There's no situation that you've been in that there was not some setbacks that you needed to learn from in order to move forward. So I had to acknowledge that this was an issue, right? kind of impulse. You quit. You don't like losing. You want to win. You're a competitor. Acknowledge all that. You know what? It was said that patience is taken from those who want it quick and given to those who already have more patience. So you will lose your patience to try to do stuff, but it's going to go to a person or a situation where people have more patience and they're going to have better results through the waiting. Number two, you need to embrace it. Just embrace who you are. If you are a risk taker, high flyer roller, do that thing. But if you're a conservative type of person, well, you kind of calculate and do the late adapter. Me, slow. I'm always a slow adapter. That's why I'm still on Android. When everybody came out on Apple, I was like, I'll wait, and I never moved. So, and it is what it is. But you know what? That's exactly who I am. And here comes the power movement. The power movement comes when you embrace who you truly are. You can be better at who you truly are. There's no right wrong to this. It's just only what you need to be. So if you are that person or that thing, embrace it and deal with it. Just embrace it. You know what? I don't have to be, I gotta be sad about this because my goal and your goal are not going to be the same. I mean, let's look at it this way. Again, using the stocks as the backdrop. You and I get into a trade at the same time with the same end spot, target in mind, but you make more money than I do. What happened? You invested more. You put more in than I did. Or I bailed out before you did, right? Does it mean that it's wrong? No, it means that the goals were different. There's no way to check that. So just embrace who you are and become better at that thing. Everybody say better, right? The third thing is once you've acknowledged it, once you've embraced it, I want you to dominate it. I want you to dominate who you are. I recognize and remember what a desire I have for knowledge and to do things and learn how to make things go and to bring it from zero to a level and try to make it go behind. That's who I am. So for me, watching the main instructors and then going off and learning some other stuff that they weren't teaching, that's who I am. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna go out here and try my own and lose this money here and there, whatever, to get better. Just like I went to the basketball court and lost the ball over, you've seen the blacktop court where I played, over the fence down to the railroad tracks several hundred times. Spin ball is gone. It doesn't matter because when I'm practicing by myself, it only prepares me for game time. Dominate who you are by becoming comfortable with what you are and be okay with it. No one cares. Nobody particularly cares, especially when you're working on some stuff for yourself. You know what I'm saying? No one particularly cares. Just be good for you. Set clear goals. Set clear directives of where you're trying to get to. When we talk about attainable and realistic goals, for me to come out and say, oh, I'm gonna just start this training thing, I'm gonna make $40,000, $50,000. Is it possible? Yes. Is it attainable? Yes. Is it realistic? Not right now for the kid. Let me just tell you, it ain't realistic right now, y'all. It ain't realistic, but it is possible because it's there, right? It's just a matter of how much work I'm willing to put in and how much work you will be willing to put in to get to the goal that you set. All right. So first point, acknowledge it, embrace it, dominate it. And the point 5 is, y'all, have fun with it. Just have fun. If this is something that you love to do, it shouldn't be a drudgery. If you're in your passion, if you are truly, truly in your passion, it's not drudgery work. It ain't even work. It's like something you look forward to. Like, I can't wait to get here to see how much money I can lose today. Yes! Because I'm going to learn something new today that I didn't know yesterday to make me better tomorrow. This skill set doesn't have to go away. There's no insight for me when it comes to this. I can only see myself getting better. When I attack a new project, the insight is not necessarily the project being over, it's what did I learn along the way. Remember, success is not one huge major event. It's a series of achieved goals along the way that move us toward a destination, which you have predetermined, hopefully. That you set your goals and you made them attainable and realistic so that when you are on your way to getting what you want, you know when you get there and when you're about to arrive, that you can then repeat it because success is repeatable. The things I'm learning are repeatable. I just need to get better at them. It is what it is. So I just challenge everybody out there. If you are taking on something new, if you are looking to improve oneself. And hopefully during this time, you can have the space to do it. It's amazing how when you slow down and get all this time in your hand, you can only watch so much TV, you can only lay around so much, you can only lift so much. It's still a lot of time left. Work on yourself. Work on yourself and get better with it. Because at the end of the day, it's really about how to make yourself better than you were before. Everybody say better, right? So I may keep you updated on this whole foreign currency trading thing that I'm doing. It is absolutely hilarious. You would think that I were at the game, rooting and cheering or whatever. I mean, I promise you I would lose and just be like, I can't believe this. I'm getting a towel, wiping down, grabbing some water. Sit down, I'm on the bench. Come on, water. I gotta go back in. I go back in. My son's like, what's wrong with you? I was like, this is war. This is war. I'm going back in. And then I was like, fool, sit down somewhere. It's not that serious. And by the way, you can't force things, but you can be forceful when you do those things. You know what I'm saying? Don't force the action, but when the action's engaged, be force. Be a force in the action, getting what you want to get to. But anyway, that's all I have right now. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Again, we have two. We have Off the Bench with Mark Wiggins, which you're listening to now. We also have Hustle and Grit Conversations. Both can be found on the Apple platform and on Spotify. It's great programming, great interviews with some high-level people on both sides. And it's been a good journey with my podcast. I love that. You've heard that story as well. But go back and check out some of those podcasts. We're talking about positive motivations, the goal setting, the setbacks. Whatever you got to do right now, you should be consuming things that make you better at what you get into, what you want to do for what comes next. All right. As always, let me leave you with this. If you can reach your dreams with the step ladder, then they're probably too low. I'm out.